All right, let's watch one more video today. This one's from Obsidian Ant, titled Starfield, Redefining Space Games with Amazing Planets. I watched the trailers. I'm not sure what he's seeing here and what the title is, so I'm really interested on his opinions here because I'm not seeing that. I love Obsidian Ant, but
Starfield has some
about?
absolutely amazing planetary tech, at least based on the footage from the latest showcase. Now, the showcase went on for nearly 1 hour. There's a whole ton to talk about. In this video, though, I want to really focus on the thing that I've been most curious about since the title was first announced, and that is the quality of the various worlds that we can visit. I know a lot of you out there really are
I saw some uniqueness to each one, and again, how many did they show? A handful. When we get in and play, these are going to repeat. So I looked at it and went, oh yeah, those look pretty cool. They're going to repeat. There's 1,000 of them.
Explorers, you love exploring space-based games, so this really is a great opportunity to do precisely that. So, as we know previously, Starfield will have 1,000 worlds, maybe a little bit more. All of them, for the most part, will be landable.
I gotta sneeze, it won't come out.
Here. Now, there won't be seamless planetary landings from your spaceship down to the surface. You have to select a location to land at. But once you've found a specific destination, you will be able to return to that as, to all intents and purposes, by clicking on a bookmark.
Freelancer, did you see that?
Now,
it looks
one
like
thing
a
I really did like to hear about is the quality of the lighting, and in some of the scenes, this really does stand out. The lighting is simulated through the atmosphere, so the stars do shine down. They're the right type of stars broadcasting at the right type of lighting, and all of that is affected by the atmosphere of the planet if it actually has one. Further, the stars...
Very interesting. I don't think you can explore the whole planet. There was no footage of flight in atmosphere. I don't know why that went right over my head. We don't know how large the planets are. You could possibly explore it all on foot. But interesting. That's a really interesting take.
Our systems are fully simulated, so if you can see a moon or a planet on the horizon, then you can get into your ship, fly up into space and visit that world. Now, Bethesda did go to some pains to completely explain
I think
that
they're just going to be
every single
small.
planet is going to be gorgeous or stunning like these ones. Some of them, many in fact, are going to be completely barren. That should be expected. I think it's completely reasonable, but even the barren planets will be full of plenty of resources. Now, what's always really interested me with Bethesda titles, that's Skyrim and Fallout 4, has been the ability to just wander out into the wilderness and...
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're going to do is you're going to scan from far away and you're going to choose a landing spot and then go to land. I see somebody say that in chat and I agree. Hard agree on that one.
Explore. Have encounters with monsters or just hostiles, or eventually come across remote locations such as
that makes more sense.
Now,
but
I'm not sure how others feel about this. Let me know in the comment section how you feel about it. But for me, the main focus of Starfield is not the campaign or the story. It really is the ability to simply go out there and explore and get involved with a variety of activities. Sometimes that may lead to combat, but I'm sure on many other occasions...
How does this differ from Star Citizen, right? This is so interesting, is people are excited about the explorability of the game. Obviously, there are more planets to explore, which differs Star Citizen from, differs in Star Citizen, right? But I think people expect there to be more interesting things to find. When you go out there and explore in Star Citizen, what do you find? There really isn't anything, right? You're not going to find an NPC that gives you a quest. You're not going to find a unique item that you can't find anywhere else. You find literally nothing. And I find that so interesting, is that we haven't, in Star Citizen focused on what you find. We just focused on what it looks like.
It simply will not. Now, I know you're going to see some comments down below where people are comparing this to No Man's Sky due to the sheer vibrance of some of the flora on offer here, some of the colors on...
Yeah, I mean, just the HUD and what you do, of course you're going to compare it to No Man's Sky. Of course you're going to compare it to Star Citizen, right? It would be crazy not to.
Display bright vivid reds and bright vivid greens. But for me, it couldn't be farther removed from No Man's Sky, despite the weird-looking monsters. And the reason I feel that way is for very basic reasons, very simple reasons. When you go into No Man's Sky, the worlds and the creatures that inhabit them tend to exist in isolation. But we know from experience with other Bethesda titles that the environments within their games tend to be live in and breathe in. Now, I'm still very curious about one specific thing. At one point in the showcase, one of the developers mentioned that for the most part when you explore, you'll do so nearby to your ship. So wherever you land in your ship, you'll explore a certain radius away from that. Now, what wasn't clear to me is whether or not that would be a chosen playstyle for many players, or whether that is a limitation of the game.
I mean, we have an O2 meter. That's a limitation right there. We could have power to our suit. There could be some, radiation or something that I see here that could be stopping me from getting somewhere.
I'm going to go with the option right now.
We'll hear more about that as it approaches, I imagine.
Be able to walk right around a planet if they so desire. The other
no
option,
rovers.
which I'm kind of hoping doesn't happen, is that the worlds are split up into a variety of smaller maps. Now, I did hear in the showcase that when you land at a particular location, the world is loaded in effectively in chunks, and that...
Okay, and I guess you can only explore a chunk, would be my guess. And guess what? That's okay. Because it's gameplay first. No loading screens second. Enjoy your lack of loading screens and nothing to do behind them, right? And that's what we currently have. I hope Star Citizen and other games find the solution to that problem, but I'll take loading screens that do lead to content over no loading screens that doesn't lead to content, right? Like, it's just as simple as that.
The environment and the contents within it are procedurally generated to some extent around the player. But that doesn't necessarily follow that the world are going to be broken down into smaller maps. I guess, for now at least, we're going to have to wait and see. Just look at these environments. I've always loved spacescapes where you get massive gas giants hanging there on the horizons of the world that you're currently standing on. It looks really, really nice. It seems as though there's going to be a load of really nice looking artifacts laying around as well. Regardless of how that all works though, you'll be able to scan planets from space and work out where the best locations will be to land. I'm going to loop this bit very briefly so you can see that there is a break.
I mean, for Star Citizen, like maps and where you find certain minerals, please give this. This is epic and so good. So much better than a random loot box chance of finding what you're looking for. I love this.
Of available resources on each particular world. You can see that right here. So again, we come to some footage here where we can see these lush looking planets. I don't think there's a space game which really has this type of detail on any worlds quite yet. Arguably, some of the worlds in Star Citizen are quite close, but they're certainly not anywhere near as fleshed out as the ones appear to be in Starfield.
They don't have the content, though.
You've got a lot of outposts here, you've got a lot of flora and fauna, and by all accounts, you've got a lot of different activities, including a whole variety of missions going on here as well. Something that no other space game currently really has, and not on this level.
I think he's going to make a very similar video come 320 ? For the derelict settlements. You guys remember derelict settlements from a few weeks back on ISC? I mean, if the NPCs actually reacted and there was something to do there, you have that's what you're looking at right here. And if it's on Microtech, that's basically what it looks like. You know what I mean? So I don't really agree with that one from Obsidian here, but I do think No Man's Sky is obviously much more fleshed out.
It's something I'm really interested in trying out, getting in there and just playing Starfield in a sandbox manner, flying from planet to planet and just exploring these different worlds. Now, another thing that I found interesting is inside your ship you have access to the star map, and this will allow you to visually look around the current star system as well as hopefully other star systems as well. You can then plot out your destination, whether you want to go to a previously visited location or check out something entirely new. And also, just whilst we're looking at the star map here, you can see the gravity well around the central sun. Just reminded me that each world does have its own gravity, and this will have a dramatic effect on the gameplay. For example, allowing you to jump far higher on worlds with a lower gravity.
Yeah,
And as they
that's cool.
zoom out, you get a slightly broader perspective of the star map with the many other star systems that you can visit. Now, in order to visit these, you will need to upgrade your ship's jump drive, as the default jump drive doesn't have the range needed to get to the further out star systems. Again, I don't want to focus too much on the other aspects of Starfield just yet. This video should be really purely about planets. There's just so much to talk about. But one thing I do want to mention is in regards to spaceships, you can have an entire fleet of them. You're not limited to just one ship.
It's interesting. What
Anyway,
do you do with your
return
extra
to
ones?
planets again.
Do other
Now,
people
some
fly
of you
them?
may feel that my thoughts so
NPCs?
far in this particular video are somewhat superficial, as they do seem to surround graphics as well as environmental factors. But long-term viewers of this channel will know that I really do enjoy exploration games, and there's
What
not
a great
that
time for
many out
space
there
games,
that go
man.
to this type of detail. In fact, I'd argue that there's not really any other game out there that has these type of diverse environments to this level of detail. It means then that, as far as I'm concerned, the environments and the planets really were the star of the Starfield showcase. I'll be back very soon to talk about my thoughts and feelings on the other aspects of the game that were revealed.
Cool, looking
Do
forward
let me
to
know
it.
your thoughts and feelings in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you. Which part are you most interested in? As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.
Thank you. I think what's going to be kind of weird is I don't think it's going to be really a great game to make content for, but I think it's going to be a really fun game to just play. Take your time, go through it, spend hours customizing a ship, you know, and I think it'll be really fun. But for me, in terms of planets, I don't know, man. I didn't see anything too monumental there. Obviously, there was content on them. You know, coming from Elite away is probably pretty bummed out by the planets there. But I don't think this is like too monumental or anything in regards to planets here. And I don't think it's redefining anything by just adding content, right? I do think that they're doing the right thing by saying, we could do it without loading screens, but we're going to use loading screens. And I think that was the right choice to make there. And yeah, I think that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's about content. It's about having fun. And the quicker you can get to have some fun, the better. And I think that's just good. So for me, the real takeaway isn't the planets. It's the fact that they have loading screens that allow you to enjoy content, find that content, and load it and allow them to put it in the game, right? Where, you know, this is mostly a Star Citizen channel here. Most people would know. They are limited to what they can add into the planets because the servers can only handle so much. Not good.